Hello everyone, my name is Rich and welcome back to another video. Today join me for a first look at the brand new Fife Sprinter timetable. Yes, it's finally here. So yes, if you didn't already know, a new timetable update has come to the Class 158 and the Fife Circle, and we can finally drive this wonderful Scotrail 158 in the timetable. Now I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this. It's probably been one of the most highly anticipated updates and it's finally here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to drive the Class 158 along the Fife Circle. I'll also jump into the main menu and show you what sorts of services you can do with the Class 158 and then we'll give it a go. So let's jump into the main menu. So here we are in the main menu, and as you can see we've got two separate timetables here now. So we've got the Sprinter Express timetable with the 158 and obviously got the original Class 170 timetable. Now one thing that's quite interesting about the Sprinter Express timetable is that there's less services for this than the original timetable, which I find quite interesting, but you've definitely got a lot more going on as you can see. So first off, we've got the star of the show, the Class 158, which we'll be giving a run of today. That's got 52 services. These come in two different liveries. You've got the Scotrail livery and the Leaving livery. With this, the Class 158 in Leaving livery actually does a select few services, which is quite cool, and then the original one does a lot more services. What's also quite cool with the Class 158 is that if you go into some of the timetabled services, they're actually 5-car, which are 158s and 170s coupled together, which is really cool. Talking of the Class 170, that is still very much here and you can still do some services with that. Of course, you can do the 5-car services if you want to, and also a whole range of original services, which were in the original timetable. As for some layers, you've got the Flying Scotsman doing some stuff, and we've also got the Class 66, which I think is doing a couple of freight services, which is quite cool. There is, of course, a few other layers included in the Class 380 and the 385 if you own Scotrail Express. I don't have those on the PC, so if you own those DLC, you'll also see those too. Anyway, let's jump into a Class 158/170 formation and drive it along the route for a little bit. So, let's jump into the Fife Sprinter timetable. Right then, here we go. I've jumped into 1 Lima 29, Edinburgh Waverley to Dundee, a 5-car service. So let's get ourselves started and get ourselves set up, shall we? So, here we go. So, first things first, let's put the key in there. Lovely stuff. Let's put that into forwards, if I can get to it. There we go. Awesome. And let's open the doors. Lovely. And the lights. Don't forget the lights. And also, I'm going to turn the DRA off because I'll forget about that. Before we go anywhere, let's take a little look at it. The 158. Don't it look stunning? I love the Scotrail 158. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, there's a cool little feature with this service. As you saw, it was a 5-car because we've got a 170 coupled to the back of it. Look at this. This is cool. It's so cool to see these in game because when I recently went to Edinburgh, you'd see these pretty much everywhere going across the 5 circles, so they're really, really cool. Anyway, we need to get ready to go, so let's get the doors locked, shall we? Let's get ready to go towards probably Inverkeithing. I think 3 or 4 stations along the line. Yeah, that seems like a good idea to me. So around about 20 minutes, little 20-minute run in the 158. So let's get ready to go. Right then, let's get going towards Haymarket, our first calling point. So all the beans, let's get going, and a couple of tones too. Lovely jubbly, off it goes, up to 20 mile an hour. Tell you what, let's go over here as it departs as well. Look at that. That is actually quite cool to see. Really cool to see indeed. Right, off goes the 170. Yeah, they're cool to see. They're really cool formations. I think there was a few technical issues with that formation. That's why it's took so long for the timetable to come out, but it's so good to see that they've managed to get it working, and it's quite prototypical. Anyway, we're leaving the tunnel here, going past the castle. Lovely stuff. I really like the 5 circle. I think it's a fantastic route. Now, one thing I am a little bit disappointed about is the fact there's no Voyager services on the timetable. And I think that's because it was built way before Train Sim World 6 came out. So that kind of makes sense. But I hope in future there will be Voyagers on the route. Because realistically, you'd see them going up the coastal section, going up towards Aberdeen. So it'd be really cool to see those in the game. Right then, gently does it in towards Haymarket. The lights are really cool in this train, aren't they? Look really, really cool. Right, here is Haymarket just outside the tunnel. Lovely stuff. So let's focus because we don't want to overdo it here. So let's get some initial brakes in, shall we? Maybe a bit more brakes. Hopefully the brakes are pretty decent on this. Right, full service brakes. All the brakes. Come on, slow right down 158. The brakes aren't too good. Oh well, that's fine. We've stopped there. There we go. Here's Haymarket. So obviously, if you own the Class 380 and the Scotrail Express DLC, you will see the 385s and the 380s here. I don't actually have them installed on the PC, but if you have those two pieces of the DLC, you'll see a lot more stuff going on around here. Of course, this is Haymarket Station. For anyone that's never been on the 5 circle or has ever played this route, if you haven't, I would highly recommend it. Right, we can go in around about 30 seconds. Let's get the doors shut because the 158s take ages to close. So let's close them doors. I wonder if the 170s doors will close before the 158s. Yeah, the 170s have closed before the 158s, and obviously this door is where the imaginary guard would be. There we go. And once that's shut, you should hear a buzzer. There we go. Awesome. Right, we can get going. Right then, all the beans towards Inverkeithing. Let's get going. All the beans and a couple of more tones as well. We might as well. So we're up to 35 and then up to 90 mile an hour. So we can start flying along now. Look at this. This is brilliant. Right then, here we go. Let's get going. So obviously, if you drive the 170 services, they've got announcements, which is obviously like a core feature for Train Sim World 6. But I wonder if the 158's got any announcements. We'll have to listen out for that. As we fly out of Haymarket, you can see there's plenty of 158s in Haymarket Depot. So I think you can actually do a couple of services out of the depot in the early morning, which is quite cool. So I think you can even do these. I wonder if there's any services where you can actually couple up to the 170s, because I don't think they're always coupled up like 24/7. But it'd be cool if you can do that in timetable mode. Of course, as we fly up to 90, we've got Murrayfield Stadium, I think that is. That's a rugby stadium. Really, really cool little piece of infrastructure on the skyline there. Here we go, flying along. I know a lot of you are going to be happy about this, given the 158 to go. Right then, here we go, almost at 70 mile an hour. We need to slow down for 75, which is fine, because we're not even at that speed just yet. But I think there should be a few more improvements to this timetable. Like I said, the voyages would be good to see. You will see your zoomers and stuff if you've owned East Coast Mainline. I don't actually own it on the PC, so I've not seen them. But things like the Pendolinos as well. You should hopefully see those around Edinburgh as well. Right then, here we go. We're veering onto the Fife Circle. This is well and truly the Fife Circle now. So we're flying up towards Edinburgh Gateway, which is the station for the airport, I think. I'll tell you what we can do. We can do a little flyby shot. So let's do that. Let's go on down here and do a little flyby shot. Right, let's go down here and do a little flyby shot, shall we? There's plenty of people in red coats. So let's go over here and let's do a little flyby as it's coming on through. As you can see, there it is. Right then, flyby time. Couple of tones. Off it goes. It sounds so ridiculous. Right, we need to actually slow down because Edinburgh Gateway is only just up the hill there. Right then, let's get some brakes in, shall we? So this looks like we're constantly climbing uphill, but we're actually flat, which is quite interesting. So let's slow down. We're going 65. Let's put some more brakes in, shall we? Right then, here is Edinburgh Gateway, so let's slow down gently. This is a relatively new station, I believe. I think all this section of line now has actually been electrified. Yeah, you'll have to let me know in the comments if it's been electrified or not. I think it has been. Anyway, let's slow down for this station. All the brakes are absolutely atrocious on the 158, so let's slow right down. There we go. Happy days. Anyway, this is Edinburgh Gateway. There is an airport over there. There's trams down there, which I think you can actually see running around, which is quite cool. I mean, I'm showing this off like you've not played the route. Obviously, if you've got the 158 and you've got the 5 Circle, you'll know all this already. What I am going to do is start shutting the doors because we're actually a little bit delayed. But a little tip for you, if you're in the 158 when the doors take ages to close, if you actually start locking them just before the barber pole finishes, you'll be alright and you'll be able to depart on time. Right then, we can get going. So let's get going to Inverkeithing in 7 miles time. All the beans as we go uphill. And maybe some more tones again? Why not? Let's get going. Off it goes, off goes the 158 and the 170. This is actually really cool. It's a good timetable and it's really good to see the 158s in the timetable like they should have been from the start, to be honest. It's good to finally see them in the game. Obviously, if you've got the Class 158 timetable, you've been able to do all sorts of stuff with the Edinburgh-Glasgow route. But I feel like that timetable doesn't really make much sense. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but I feel like its true cooling was 5 Circle, and it's good to finally see it. A few more little tweaks and changes, you know, adding in the voyages, maybe a few more different services, maybe a couple of more rail tours would be nice. And then this, you know, this timetable will be really, really good. And of course, we can get up to 100 mile an hour now as we fly past the airport, which is over there. Look at that, there it is. You can see the planes and stuff. Anyway, up to 100 mile an hour, all the beans, and we should see another 158 going zooming past any second now. I tell you what, let's go and get another little flyby shot, shall we? I think that sounds like a good idea. I think there's something coming the other way as well, so that'll be perfect timing. Yeah, there you go. There's another 158. There's that 2-car service. So off goes that. And hopefully, there's ours. Look at that. Straight past. Awesome stuff. Oh, that's so cool. Lovely diesel-y action. I love it. Right, as we approach the top of the hill, we have got an 80 limit, but we're only going 80 mile an hour, so that's absolutely fine. So I am going to take some beans off, because we're going to start levelling out now. Right, then we're rounding the corner. We've got another 170. Look at that. That was quite quick, wasn't it? Really quick indeed. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe that's another 5-car service which has accidentally got decoupled somewhere. Right then, as we approach towards Dalmania, I think it is, we have got a 50 limit, and that's for the bridge, so let's get slowed down a little bit. Right, there we go. Step 1 brake as we fly through Dalmania. A couple of tones, shall we? Lovely stuff. Nice. How's everyone doing? Everyone like the 158? Everyone happy about it in the game? Yeah, I think so. And here we go, here it is on the 4th bridge. Finally, at long last, the Class 158 officially on a timetable along the 4th bridge. I don't know if it's just me, but it's about blooming time. Look at this, here you go, you got a proper formation now. This is absolutely fantastic. Look at that, that is so picturesque, looks absolutely fantastic. I tell you what, that's a photo mode opportunity there, I think. Ah, there you go, look at that, stunning, stunning stuff. Let's take that, that's the thumbnail. That is the thumbnail. Maybe one from this side as well. I tell you what, maybe one from this side as well. Come on, pose for us, 158. Pose. Lovely stuff. Excellent. I love it. What about the back? Maybe get one with the 170 in it. I tell you what, we're going to get one from afar, I think. I tell you what, that'll do. Maybe like there. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a very good shot. Awesome stuff. Right, let's carry on our merry way, shall we? Yeah, this piece of infrastructure here is one of the reasons why I love the Fife Circle so much. Genuinely, every single time I revisit it, I'm more and more blown away. It's just absolutely fantastic. Like, look at it. Look at this piece of infrastructure. I can't imagine how long it took to build this. Obviously, you know, in real life it took years to build. But in game, right, I can imagine this is a beef of a thing to build. It's also cool that it all lights up and stuff, and also you got the stuff over there as well. Oh, it's absolutely stunning. It really is. It's probably one of the most prettiest routes in the game to date. And it's a shame as well because we're coming into the end of it, but it's quite an interesting view in my opinion because the 170s have got a wider view, but with the 158 you can see a little less, but it's still quite cool. It's kind of like unique. Anyway, off the bridge we go. Off the bridge we go. Oh well. It was fun whilst it lasted, but if you got the timetable and you got the 158, you can go back around the loop and go back towards Edinburgh if you want to. Anyway, we're flying through, or sort of flying through, the other station along the bridge. So this is North Queensferry. Yeah, there you go, North Queensferry. A very quaint little station, also very awkward to get out of in the snow. It makes me wonder, now that we've got the 170-158 combinations, the 158 should be quite powerful, so hopefully we should be able to get out the station a bit better. We'll have to try that in a live stream. Right then, as we emerge out the tunnel, we've got 1.3 miles left to go on this service, and I tell you what, I have very much enjoyed this. I feel like this is going to be a lot of fun in the timetable mode, and it definitely adds a lot more variety as well. Obviously, if you've got things like the 801, you've got things like the Pendolino, obviously Scotrail Express, the 380, you'll have a much busier timetable. I feel like mine's a little bit quiet because I don't have the stuff installed, but if you've got all the stuff, you'll see plenty of things going on. But like I say, I think a few things are definitely missing. The Voyages, for one, I think the Voyages would look absolutely stunning on this route. I know you can do it in free roam, but it'd be cool to see them in the timetable. And then also, you know, maybe some other things. It'd be cool to see an 800 up here, for example, like an LNER 800. I know we don't have that in game, but like the 801 could be kind of like retrofitted to kind of work on this. I think it'd look absolutely fantastic. Anyway, we're on the approach into Inverkeithing in less than half a mile's time. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this and it's good that it's finally out. Right then, as we emerge out the tunnel at Inverkeithing, let's get slowed down for this station where I'm going to leave this video. So let's slow right down. We're speeding a little bit into this station, but it'll be fine. Right then, here is Inverkeithing. So let's get slowed down, shall we? A bit of initial brakes should be absolutely fine. Just roll. Slowly does it into Inverkeithing. Tell you what, let's stop there. That's a good stop actually. That's a pretty decent stop in my eyes. Right then, let's get the doors open, and that was a 158 run on the Fife Circle. It's so good to finally see them in the route. And it means now with the Class 158 DLC, you can actually run this train in, what, 3 different routes? I think you can drive it on Cathcart Circle, obviously Edinburgh, Glasgow, and now this. So 3 routes you can drive the 158 with. And of course, you've got the interesting formations with the 170. So if you want to give those a go, you know, you can jump into a 158, go up towards Glenrothes, turn back around in the 170, come back down the other way. So there's plenty of stuff now, and there's more playability with this. I still feel like there's a few gaps that could be filled, like the Voyages, for example, now that we've got them in game. I'd love to see them in this timetable, so hopefully, if enough people ask for it, we might see the Voyages eventually. But anyway, now that we've driven a Class 158 along the Fife Circle, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you finally glad to see it in game? I know I certainly am. So now that we've safely arrived at Inverkeithing, I'm going to leave that video there. So thank you all for watching this video. I've been Richie, and I hopefully see you all next time. Bye bye.